Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Alien Protocols. Hey, gang, great to see you. Julie, yay! I'm kind of still getting going too. My brain is still functioning slowly. Woke up late today, and yes, the coffee is helping, and also the nutrition drinks. Well, we're a couple seconds early. Better to be early than late, of course. So, the subconscious mind. There is so much power in our subconscious. We rarely take the time to think about how amazing our subconscious is and how amazing my glowing ears are when they are backlit. Hello, Renee. Nice to see you, Renee. It's 8:55 a.m. over there for you. Great to see you. We rarely utilize our subconscious mind overtly. Rob, much love. I love my UK friends so much, my UK family. So, our subconscious mind, in many ways, Matt, love you, brother. Julie, mwah, glowing ears. Our subconscious mind is very much like the part of the iceberg that's under the water. Our conscious mind just is so little of our daily processing power. Stefan, I love you, brother. I love you, brother. Nero, thank you for being here. So it's important to realize how much we don't control our own minds. How much do you really control the thoughts that come to your head when they come to your head? It's almost as if we're living with a stranger, our own minds, that we're just getting to know more and more over time. And the more you realize that, the more you realize that this subconscious is a separate person almost. And the more you're able to access that subconscious mind and utilize it to your conscious benefit, the more you can unleash amazing, amazing abilities. And there is such a history of this going back thousands of years. And the most brilliant minds have utilized very special techniques that I'm going to tell you about in just a few minutes. So it's important to realize how powerful our subconscious mind is. Super, I love you. Super has been there from the very beginning with me. We've trained together. We've done such amazing things. I love you, Super. So your brain has 85 billion transactions, 85 billion little nerve cells. And consciousness and the subconscious is poorly understood now, very poorly understood by science. For example, dreaming. We don't really completely know why we dream. Now, some scientists will say it's to reconstitute neurochemicals. But our digestive system doesn't sleep, necessarily. Our cardiovascular system doesn't sleep. Why does our brain sleep? Why do all living creatures, animals, more specifically than plants, dream? It's a very fascinating question. Big Pat Man, I think you're right. It's all just a dream. Allie, welcome. So, when thinking about your subconscious, it's important. Yan, I love you. I love you, Yan. Oh, I want to squeeze him. There's people I want to squeeze. Yan, Stefan, Super. These are the people I want to squeeze. Your subconscious mind is thousands of times stronger than your conscious mind. And it's thousands of times stronger than you think. And when you can tap into your subconscious, you can unleash abilities and effects on the real world and in your interaction with the real world that will blow your mind. Even if you know about these things, this stuff constantly blows my mind, and I've seen some really extreme stuff. So it's important to know that your subconscious, there's a lot of different interesting facts about your subconscious. Your subconscious, if you take stuff from your conscious mind and your powerful intellect and you push things from your conscious into your subconscious, you want to ignore something that's important. If you ignore a physical pain, if you ignore an emotional pain, if you ignore these things and you try and push it down, your subconscious will make you remember it. You can push it out of your conscious mind, but your subconscious mind will still know that there's a stress. And that subconscious mind will take out that pressure on your physical body or your conscious mind. And time again, people with internal subconscious stresses manipulate their physical bodies by pushing things deep into their subconscious and not letting them out and addressing them. So your subconscious mind will be heard. It's very powerful. You can try and shut it up. But if there is important information for you there, it will be heard, even though it's that much underneath the surface. So there's different aspects of the subconscious that are important as well too. That's why stress can equal poltergeists. We will get into that, Matt. You're 5 steps ahead of us. Slow down, Matt. Your subconscious mind works in a different space-time than your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is really in the now. Although it has a memory and it can see into the future, it really loves to live and exist in the now. Subconscious mind, we'll get to that at the end. And gang, save your questions till the end, and we'll answer a bunch of questions at the end of this brief unlocking your subconscious stuff. So your subconscious really exists in the now. And the more you give information to your subconscious in the now, the more it will store it. And it will just become a reactive, reflexive part of your life. For example, when you're training a good habit or a bad habit, it starts off as just a little, oh, I love you, Diane. That's my crush right there, Diane. I love you, Diane. Any action you do, whether it be a good action or a bad action, starts off as a little, like, footpath. And the more you do that action, it becomes like a little sidewalk. And then a little dirt road. And then a paved road. And then a highway. And then a superhighway. The more you do actions that you want to do, the more they will become habit. And if you have negative habits, you have to retrain those pathways. Fortunately, our brains are very flexible. Our conscious mind can teach our subconscious. Conscious affirmations train your subconscious. Ingo Swann always wanted you to end any psychic training session on a positive note, because positive affirmations train your subconscious mind. That's why it can grow from a footpath to a road to a highway. And I often tell people who we're working with, who are dealing with depression or other issues, is if you make a nest for depression, it will come and roost. If you make a nest for stress, it will come and roost. That's why you need to change those pathways that allow you to get to those places of stress. You need to turn that nest from concave into convex. I will answer that question at the end, Carl. Please remind me. That's a great question. So you can give yourself affirmations in the conscious world, and if you do that again and again, they will move into your subconscious and become just a part of your natural reflex. So that's a really important thing to think about in terms of your bad habits, retraining yourself, and in terms of reinforcing your good habits and abilities that you want to get better at. And these don't have to be psi abilities or the esoteric. These can be any abilities, of course. So the conscious mind teaches the subconscious. Now, there's a very famous technique that Thomas Edison used to do. Thomas Edison had 2 steel balls, and he had a steel bowl, and he would take several naps during the day. And he would hold these 2 steel balls in his hand, and he would sit in a chair and hold them above the steel bowl. And in his conscious mind, he would ask himself what the problem was that he wanted to solve. He would say, you know, how do I solve this problem? How do I solve that problem? How do I solve this problem? Then he'd fall asleep and he'd drop the steel balls. They would hit the bowl and they'd wake him up. And when they woke him up, he would write down the first answer that he got. And this became something very popular. It's called auto-inquisition. It's basically asking yourself questions, but it's really asking your subconscious. It's kind of like you talking to that separate person directly. So auto-inquisition is something you can try at home. If you have a question or a complex problem, you can take an object just like Thomas Edison did and speak to your subconscious through your conscious mind. So remember, Edgar Cayce did the same thing. He slept on books to learn about them. This is a very long-standing ability, this auto-inquisition. And you can do it many different ways. So that's a great way to ask your subconscious directly questions. But also, so is remote viewing. So is a lot of the different psi abilities. There are these people in Borneo called the Puna people. And the Puna people have this incredible rainforest that they live in. And they would have difficulty traveling from place to place or finding other villages that they had friendly relationships with. And they developed something called the dream walkers, the dream wanderers. And the Puna people literally would go to sleep wanting to know, where is my other tribe? And they would go to sleep, and in their dreams they would wander and find the other tribe. And then during the day when they woke up, they could go and find the tribe at that exact location. And there's a couple documentaries. There's a famous documentary now called The Ring of Fire, where you can watch this actually happen in real time. They're going out trying to find this very rare group of rainforest individuals in this small little tribe. And a relative did the dream wandering and knew exactly where they were and found them there, because they're nomadic. They're always moving. Very difficult to find. So using your abilities of the subconscious to get conscious information is an incredibly powerful thing. Remote viewing is very much like that. Remote viewing, like the Puna people, you kind of go to a place of blankness, which for them is sleep. And you can do this as well. You go to that place of blankness, and then from sleep, from your dreams, from your subconscious, get the answer you want. Remote viewing is so much of it is not about getting the signal, because the signal comes to you. It's about getting the stillness so that the intrusive thought can come to you. And that's what they're called in psychology. It's called an intrusive thought, a thought that you do not control. So when you get to that place of blankness and you've already pre-programmed yourself with the question that you want answered, then the intrusive thought will come to you once you've really reached a great point of blankness. So this is another way of training the subconscious. The more you do any action in your conscious world, whether it be writing it down or physically doing it, the more it travels to your subconscious. What negative habits do you have that you want to change? You can change those through repetitively teaching your conscious mind, and it will pass it on to the subconscious. It's like a martial artist who tries a move again and again and again and again until it just becomes reflex. And that's what we do in the world of the esoteric. To learn healing, you do it again and again and again and again until it just becomes reflex and easier to do. Remote viewing is the same way. The more you do remote viewing, the more you push yourself, the more you have impediments and make it difficult, the stronger and better and more reflexive these abilities will become for you. I rarely lose things now, because now I can use remote viewing to find them. And oftentimes it's as simple as just taking my hand and going, here. Forcing your subconscious mind to come out now. The subconscious mind is very improvisational. It's your very first ideas. So don't overthink any of these things too much. Okay, so meditation is a great halfway point almost between your conscious and your subconscious mind. It's a great translator. When you meditate, you can pre-program your meditation to have solutions for you, whether it be a physical solution for your own body, a mental solution for your own life, a business solution. Exactly, Super Sleuth. You treat it like remote viewing. You describe it kind of ahead of time, you go to the place of blankness, and the information comes there. Excuse me, time and time again, you can see that done. Where Thomas Edison pre-programs the question, he has the 2 balls for auto-inquisition, he falls asleep, going into the subconscious realm, ding ding, the balls wake him up, and he comes back from the subconscious realm to the conscious realm with an answer. The Puna people, the same thing. When they fall asleep, they're going from the conscious realm with their question into the subconscious realm where they get the answer, then they come back to consciousness and bring that dream wanderer, the dream walker information. And it is so cool how the Puna people and other groups throughout the world, throughout history, have done these same things that we would call remote viewing. We would even call that an outbounder test, what the Puna people did. So if you want to train a positive new habit, if you want to train your natural psychic ability, play the Russell Targ game, the ESP trainer, and always end on a high note. Always end on an affirmation, because affirmations train your subconscious the best. It's not just repetition, but it's also affirmations. Affirmations like a booster. So you can repeat, 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 and end on an affirmation, and that's the maximum way to train your subconscious. So, there's a couple questions, though, I also had about the brain. They say the brain has no nerves, and that you can actually perform surgery on the brain and that you won't feel it, and that the brain has no nerves, and the brain itself cannot feel pain. And then I asked myself, well, what are headaches? That's when you think about this stuff too much. So that's it, gang. It's really easy to understand that your subconscious mind is your reflexive mind that is tapped into everything. It's tapped into the great program. And if you want a question answered from the universe, you can ask your subconscious mind and it will find the answer for you. And if you want to become so good at something, it becomes reflexive, like esoteric abilities from healing to psychokinesis to remote viewing to clairvoyance to clairaudience. You can manifest it by training your conscious mind to train your subconscious mind. And then it just snaps, snaps, snaps. I've gotten better and better over time because I keep working on these skills habitually. And I think it's really important for you guys to do the same. So, do I have any more notes? Anything else I wanted to chat about? Nope. That's basically it. So, if you want to unlock your superpowers, if you want to unlock the ability to connect to the Akashic record, thank you, Super. Super did a super chat. Super chat is when they put in like instant money, and it's so sweet. Thank you, Super. Bless you. Love you. So, if you want to learn any of these abilities, you must train your subconscious mind. Oh, Miss Sausages is going to make an appearance. She's resting right now. She's having her beauty sleep, so she stays gorgeous. If you want to become a better remote viewer, you must teach yourself how to access that information from the subconscious easier and faster. You must learn to get to that place of stillness so the intrusive thought can come to you from the subconscious. Like it did for Thomas Edison, like it does for the Puna people, you have to make this blank space happen. So, some tips on how to get to the blank space. Many people start off with trying to imagine blackness and a red dot. Just the blackness and the red dot, forgetting any sounds, any physical sensations, forgetting everything except for this blackness, the stillness, and the red dot. Then as you get better and better at holding that world, that imagination, then you make the red dot disappear and you just deal with the blackness. Yes, Tesla did this stuff as well. You stay with just the blackness and you get that strong, And then after a while, you get rid of the blackness even. And how you can get better at all of these and how you can make your abilities get deeper and stronger are by adding impediments. Meditate in a place that has a lot of impediments, sounds, noises, birds, people. And the more you can get to just that blackness and the red dot and zone them all out and make the red dot disappear and then the blackness disappear. Julie, I love you. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, every time someone does that, I'm going to have to make out with Miss Sausages. There's Miss Sausages. Look at that face. That 17-year-old face with the teeth hanging out. I love her so much. 17 years old, look at her. She's the best. This little creature. Oh my goodness. Miss Sausages, give him the Billy Idol. That's the Billy Idol. You got it. Oh, bless you guys so much. Thank you so much. Yay! So I don't even know what I was talking about. Miss Sausages got me completely distracted with her love. She is too adorable. So, adding impediments to your meditations helps tremendously. It allows you to make your stillness stiller and more in control. The more you can block out those impediments, the noises, the sounds, and the more you can get to the place of all blackness. With that red dot, then make the red dot disappear. Then make the blackness disappear. The more you can get to that place where the intrusive thought will leap to you, like the Puna people's dreamwalkers, like Thomas Edison's auto inquisition. It's the same exact ability. It's the Akashic record. It's what Edgar Cayce got when he dreamt on books. It's what Tesla did when he meditated and did auto inquisition. So, if you want to make your skills better at the esoteric, I've got hairs all over my face. I love you, sweet girl. Then you need to increase your ability to get to that place of nothingness. Because the first thought, the first intrusive thought that leaps to you, that's the gestalt. That's what we call in remote viewing the gestalt. And you take that first idea. And remote viewers will tell you again and again that first thought, the gestalt, is right. We don't know why, but it is. Okay, so I'm going to start taking questions in just a second. You guys ready for some questions? I am very eager to hear your guys' thoughts. Questions in caps, please, gang. I love you guys. So sweet of you guys for the super chat. Thank you so much. Great to see you, Yan. I love you, brother. Poltergeists, what are they? It's a great question, Matt. In the homes of people who have poltergeists, you will often find a disturbed individual. They've done study after study, and these disturbed individuals are oftentimes a young boy or a young girl or an oppressed wife. And in the interactive universe model and in the Valet Davis model, where people like, Jacques Vallée and Eric Davis and Terence McKenna believed that a lot of these physical manifestations of ghosts are caused subconsciously by disturbed people within the home. They're something called PK displayers, and they usually have several symptoms that are always the same. They're prodigious savants, highly intelligent. They're under pressure, under stress, the most stressful times of their lives. They have no way to relieve that stress. Like I was saying before, the subconscious will be heard. You can push trauma from your conscious mind into your subconscious mind, but the trauma will still come out one way or another. So, These abilities of psychokinesis can manifest themselves as poltergeists and ghosts. Objects can go flying. That's what you can look at in the case of the Hutchinson effect. Hutchinson was under tremendous stress and pressure, and he localized himself, and he was able to focus his energy and his brilliant intellect. But still, things would go whoo, whoo in the background. The gold leaf lady. There's a famous case of the woman in Florida that Dr. Browdy did a book on and investigated. And she was under a very abusive husband-wife situation. And she produced gold leaf that would come out of her body. And it's a psychological manifestation of the subconscious needing to get a release. So don't oppress your feelings. Don't oppress your stress. Relieve your stress. It's repressed, spontaneous psychokinesis. Wonderful way of describing it, Deirdre. Thank you. Exquisite way to describe it. And it's an example, again, of how much the subconscious really controls who we are over time. Why do some people have stress but not poltergeists? Well, I've spoken with some scientists about this, and some scientists believe that it has even a genetic component. So they say that two of the major factors are, one, that they're usually a prodigious savant. They're an incredibly intelligent person with incredible brain power. And two, that they're under this pressure, this suppression. So all people don't show uncontrolled psychokinesis when they're under stress. It has to be prolonged major stress. It has to be a prodigious savant. It has to, some people, I can say who, Dr. Hathaway is one of those who believes it might have an Eastern European component, genetic component, that those from this Eastern European area have a higher proclivity. From Poland, well, that would explain it. That's where some of my heritage is from, right where you are, my friend, Viren. So I don't know if that is true or not. I think it's an interesting supposition, but I think everyone has these abilities, and that they're just very hard to connect to in the deep subconscious. And the more you train your subconscious to access these abilities, the more you can access them. Eduardo, I love you, brother. When you start with magnetism, your body first has to understand what magnetism is, the feeling, the sensation. It has to become a habit, like bike riding. Bike riding at the beginning is so difficult. You're just barely struggling and feeling every sensation. And then over time, you just hop on a bicycle, and all of that's done automatically by your subconscious mind. And in a lot of ways, that's how using your psychic abilities are. At first, it's difficult. At first, when you try the ESP trainer game, you get lower numbers. It's difficult. You're more conscious because you're on that bicycle more, wobbling and flobbling. Then over time, the more you do it, the more you let that subconscious speak, the more you create that pathway that grows into a highway, that grows into a superhighway. And the more that number for your ESP trainer will go up and up and up and up. Slight change of subject. Ever thought of a live daylight CE5 on here, buddy? Well, I think it's a great idea, Matt. In fact, we kind of did that accidentally on the last live stream. So, see, that's a great example. A lot of people are talking about when they've had stress and difficulties in their lives and in people's lives around them, how it can push objects, move objects around them. Thoughts on... All I saw was Sandia Mountain. Sandia Mountain. I don't have any thoughts on Sandia Mountain. I haven't done any remote viewing of that area, but you know what? I will add that to my list. I'm going to be doing another Histories No Longer Mysteries soon. So if you have any questions or anything you'd like to add for a topic you'd like to add for Histories No Longer Mysteries, please let me know. Senor Huesos. Follow them on it. Oh, is that the Sandia, the E.T.? Is that what you're talking about? The E.T. named Sandia? I think that's kind of a gag. Yeah, I think that's kind of a gag. But I like how they're presenting it. It's for those of you who don't know, I think it's Sandia the E.T. and it's supposed to be an ET that has this whole backstory, and the ET comments on things every day. Is it needed to blink yourself when using telekinesis, or is it like moving a body part? That is a great, great question. I have found, healing is telekinesis. Affecting machines, like I've been able to prove again and again, and that you guys can do, and affecting dice, those are all telekinesis. Now, do you have to go to that place of blankness to get to telekinesis? Yes and no. From my experience in all the machines I've been able to affect, from the research labs under scrutiny, to with friends, to phones, to lighting fixtures on the walls, I try everything. I don't really completely know. And it's important when you don't know something to admit you don't know. I have found different things work at different times. I think it's all about ultimately communicating to your subconscious mind. But I've tried so many different things in order to get my psychic abilities to work, or psychokinesis to work. There's the classic battery in your stomach. And they say that the positive is around your belly button and the negative is around your, like space between things down there. And that's the negative. And that when you flex your stomach muscles, you're creating an energy flow. And that's the location of the cosmic egg in the Ingo Swann painting. That's a very long-standing, yes, Julie, thank you. The taint is the scientific term, I think. Thank you, Julie. There's a long-standing history in the esoteric and the Yoga Sutras talking about the battery being right there. So flexing that is oftentimes part of my ability as well, too, I think. So I don't know what the actual final trigger and mechanism is for psychokinesis. I'm not sure. I know that it's in the subconscious, because with healing, when we pray for somebody, you're thinking about them at a distance, and you don't have to flex. You don't have to do all these things. And healing works. We know that. Time and time again, studies have been done. It's empirical, scientific at this point. Healing works. And healing is psychokinesis. And once you accept that, it really helps you to open up your abilities. The most important thing is to believe. Because when you believe, it opens up that pathway. Repeated affirmations train the subconscious. It's really, really important. Okay, any more questions? I'm sorry, I'm sure I missed a bunch of questions in babbling there. Any more questions? I'd love to attend a CE5 with you guys next year. Yep, that was amazing. We had an amazing healing this week, where someone who was on a ventilator and in an induced coma came out of the coma, and we were pretty stunned. The question, let's see what that question was. Oh, okay, here we go. Are seance manifestations just thought forms, not actual spirits? Yes, Matt. Now, a lot of you guys know from the early 1900s, early 1800s, they used to do seances, and strange physical things can happen. And you can create a seance yourself, even all the way down to a Ouija board, and you can make physical things happen. And I believe that that is part of the interactive fractal universe, where the subconscious mind is being allowed to break free in these seances and create physical effects. Once you give yourself a permission slip, it gives the ability for you to have psychokinetic effects a much greater chance. If you go to a building that you know is haunted, it's like giving you a permission slip. Exactly. If you go to like a Skinwalker Ranch, it's a permission slip. So time and time again, it goes back to belief. Okay, let me go back, see if I can catch some more of these questions. I just figured out how to scroll. Can you know if you have alien implants in your body? Yes, you can. You can email us if you want on that. We can help a little bit with that. Ken Wheeler has great stuff on magnetism, yes. Any tips for when you get barely out of the body and something pushes you back in? Well, that's a great question. If you're ever trying to do an out-of-body experience or travel out of your body and you get pulled back into your body, or that happens again and again, you have to train your subconscious. You have to train your mind. And I love that question concept. I'm going to get to that. Let me write it down really quickly. You have to train your mind to have the ability to achieve over that hindrance, whatever that hindrance is. If you have to imagine defeating it first, again and again and again, and then you go in and you defeat it. And you don't give up. You must believe, Ain, and continue. You don't give up. You have to believe. Pre-program, go back in again. Okay, and the question was, do you have to have synesthesia? The next question was, fuck, I love you, brother. Do you think synesthesia helps or hurts meditation practice? Well, synesthesia is kind of a separate thing in a way. Synesthesia, for those of you who don't know, is when your senses combined, and sometimes it's extrasensory information. I've been in a remote viewing where I've smelled sounds, where I've tasted sound. Really important to control your mind and your brain. And if you get a Muse device, like this one here, you can find out your baseline brain waves. This is the Muse S. You can find your basic brain waves, and you can change them. You can alter them. You can spike your most creative brain waves when you need to do creative writing. You can spike your most in control brain waves when you need to do something that requires great physical and manual dexterity. So I think that's an important thing to do, is to have control of your mind and body, and you can solve those questions. So synesthesia, for me, I think synesthesia is a wonderful thing. Normally our senses detect things one at a time. Smell smells, sight sees. But when you're able to combine two different sensors on one object, you're getting increased information. Synesthesia is something you should never be ashamed of. You should love synesthesia. It's an extra sense. It's an evolved sense. So not only are you getting the smell, not only are you getting the sound, but you're having the ability to see the other through each and get more and more data. I've gotten some of the coolest data through synesthesia in esoteric practices. So allow yourself to have these synesthetic experiences. Allow yourself. Can some other soul take over the body while an astral projection out-of-body experience? No. In my philosophy and my beliefs, no negative thing can come into your sphere in any of this stuff unless you allow it. I have never had a negative experience. I've never had a negative poltergeist experience. I've never had any negative experience whatsoever. In all of this stuff, none. Because I don't allow it into my sphere. You don't allow negative people into your sphere. It helps. So, ET implants, what are their function? I think the real ones are probably what you would think. We put implants in our dogs so that we can find them when we want to. But you can imagine an advanced civilization could track a whole bunch of other biological data points using those implants. So that's what I would think they might be. I think most of them are not what people think. Most of them are not alien implants. Okay. Have you ever pulled someone out of their body to do one? Out-of-body experience. Have I ever pulled someone out? Well, I've gone on astrals with someone before, and that's been very bizarre and interesting, that we were able to see the same things at the same time. I think it's really important to have a partner. If you're going to explore the esoteric, please get a partner, get a buddy, get a friend, because you're going to grow faster together. If you haven't explored any of these topics and you want to explore them, email us. It would be a pleasure to help. at alienprotocols@gmail.com. And Super is talking about something really cool from my friends Wendy Gallant and Rob Freeman. These are just amazing, wonderful people, and they are doing seeing while blindfolded, reading while blindfolded. And this is tapping into that subconscious mind that has all data, all information from all time. I don't think the Akashic record and that this field, some of us call the Lyman, some call the Akashic record, some call it the source. I think it's real. I think it's a real physical structure. I think it's a real field. It's a substructure underneath our universe so that everything can have a relation to everything. So it can all have meaning. And like a tree from above, everything looks different. You have a branch over here and a bird over here and a fruit over here, and they all look separate if you look at a tree from above. But if you look at it from the side, you'll notice that they start to connect by hubs and branches and more hubs and less branches and less hubs and less, till you get down to one main trunk. And I think our universe is very much like that. So any information you want from any time, any space, can be garnered by going into that field. And my friends Wendy and Rob, they're using their abilities to see beyond their senses. And you guys can do the same thing. That's exactly what remote viewing is. Astral projection is. It's something worth checking out. And challenge yourself, guys. You are not the occupation oh my, I love you. Mwah. You are not as limited as you think you are. Your abilities are so much bigger than you believe. Your perceptions are able to do so much more than you've ever given yourself credit. Believe, believe, believe. Okay, any more questions? Have any persons aware of presence while remote viewing them? Yes, I've had that experience a couple times, where people have felt like they were being remote viewed and ask, did you remote view me today or something? And there's ET experiences like that, so it's interesting. Whoever Dr. SVS is correct. Ted Owens is a very famous practitioner who used to call lightning bolts. He used to change weather patterns. And Dr. Jeffrey Mishlove, who is just an amazing human, a wonderful, amazing, wise human, wrote a great book on Ted Owens, documenting over 150 instances of accuracy. So imagine the power it takes to cast a lightning bolt. Hutchinson could transform, levitate, lift metals, gellify metals, snap the strongest metals, melt metal bars. Imagine the energy it takes to do that. Remote viewing, you're just seeing these distant places and things and objects. That's the first step, that's the connection. Then psychokinesis, whether it be Ted Owens' extreme type, Hutchinson's extreme type, or my humble ability to affect machines. We all can affect sight and sound and physical objects over any distance. But you have to believe. You have to open up that subconscious realm and allow that connection first, and then the physical interaction. I went to Vegas and turned $300 into $3,200 in 2 days with Dr. Gallenberger. And that was being able to affect dice, affect machines, affect rolling balls. And you guys can do that too. You have to believe. And the more you create that pathway, and when you get accurate and when you're correct, it creates an affirmation. And you keep doing it again, it creates another affirmation. And you keep doing it again and another affirmation. And affirmations program your subconscious mind. I love what you just said there, Julie. Belief, intent, emotion, and it actualizes. So you can recreate your reality. Did I have childhood ET contact from Matt? Yes, I did. With the craft, I don't really remember all the details. That's part of the problem. But I do remember the craft very well. Any more questions? Can you get the Akashic records through your medulla oblongata? I think it's just from that meditation going to that blank space. Pre-programming the question, go to the blank space, let the information come to you. Just like the Puna people, they'd go to sleep with the information pre-programmed and they let the subconscious give them the information. Thomas Edison with auto inquisition, the same thing. Pre-program the question, fall asleep, ding ding, drop the metal balls in the bowl, wakes him up with the subconscious answer. First thing, he would write it down. Don't forget your subconscious has all the answers. It connects to everything. Okay, any more questions? Have I ever considered getting a past life regression? Never. Practicing with Buddy was crucial to learning more. Absolutely. Super and I practiced together so much. Early on, she will tell you, I didn't know what the control remote viewing was. I didn't know there was a 7-page process. And she helped me, and we went back and forth through the process. And I'd wake her up super early in the morning, excited and motivated. And the drawings would start off with me drawing the exact shapes of the objects inside. I remember drawing the exact shape of this interesting embassy. And over time, the details went from black and white backgrounds to 3D geometric shapes to full color drawings, to stuff like with Omar and others on who are watching now, who were strangers at first, who wanted to test me. And they gave me just target numbers and had amazing, stunning results, naming the target, drawing the target in color, the right color. So don't forget to add color when you're doing this stuff as well too. Use color. And practice. That's right, Super. I would call her really early. But we have had so many amazing experiences together. I don't think I would be here now if it wasn't for Super. I don't think I would be at this level if it wasn't for Super. And Super is the same. We help each other grow. Super is, I can't say enough. I could spend the whole channel talking about it. Any more questions? Is that it, gang? Let me see. Allie Mick. Ooh, that sounds really cool. August 2021, she's got a dream that says microbial life is going to be found on Mars and announced in August of next year. I love that. I feel it too, and I want it to happen. Let's actualize that. Di has craft above her house. There are very few people I would say that about. No doubt. There are some people that are intentional callers, and there are some people that are unintentional callers. And she is an extraordinary case. And one of these 7 people that I say can call intentionally or unintentionally. There's only 7 people in the world I know that can do it intentionally and unintentionally. I believe hers are more subconscious and unintentional, and they have a separate agenda. But there's been repeated sightings there. There's several other locations, and there's only 2 other locations in the United States I know where people can repeatedly, dependably call craft. So it's a very rare art, and those people are highly evolved with getting that information from the subconscious. So, well, gang, I think that's it. We're almost at an hour now. If there's any questions that you have later on, you can email me at alienprotocols@gmail.com. If you guys need a healing, if you want tutoring on any of this stuff, if you need a personal reading, if you need anything, we are here to help you. There's never a charge. You can donate if you want. No obligation. We love you. We care about you. The next show, we're going to do a live CE5. That's what we're going to do for the next show, gang. I think that's what we decided, right? A live CE5 for the next live stream, which I will do next weekend. How does that sound? Sound like fun? It's very dangerous doing that because all it takes is 1 or 2 negative Nellies, but we're going to overpower them with positivity. Shropshire. Yes, Diane and Afak should get together. You two need to get together. Afak is an amazing human being who I adore. And he's very enlightened. And Diane, the same. And I think you two should meet. Anyway, I love you guys. Oh, Matt's in South Wales. I didn't know that. Interesting. Oh my gosh, you guys have got to get together and do some CE5s. We're going to be doing some CE5s live here next weekend. So only tell enlightened individuals. I will keep this very down low until I think I'll only post it the last minute. So maybe I'll post it really early so only the really good people will remember it. Blue shit. I love you. Love you. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna say goodbye with Miss Sausages. Let me get the sausage. Oh, I know, sweet love. All right. That's my relative right there, Rob. Love you, Blue. Nero from China, thank you so much. Love you so much. Thank you guys for coming. And if you have any more questions about training your subconscious or any of these abilities that you would like to work on, please write Miss Sausages at alienprotocols@gmail.com, and she will answer all of your questions, and she will continue to do her Billy Idol impression. I love you guys. Much love, and I will see you next week for our CE5 live. Love you, Stefan. Love you, Di. Love you all. Love you, Super. Thank you guys so much. Look at this sweet 17-year-old girl. I love you guys. Okay, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. You hang up first. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Super.